The story begins at a temple. A frightened man entered this temple with a child to pray. The temple was very old and eerie, as if no one had stepped inside it for centuries. Yet, despite no one being around, the sound of drums echoed from within. Suddenly, a huge deity awoke, and that sound of drumming was nothing but the beating of his heart. This deity had risen to unleash hellish suffering upon humankind. Next, we see a man named Guan searching for his daughter Tangerine inside a mysterious ancient cave. His daughter was screaming loudly from deep within the cave. Just then, a blinding light appeared in front of Guan. It was the deity manifesting itself to stop him from going any further. Suddenly, Guan's eyes opened. He realized it was a dream. His daughter Tangerine had been kidnapped 6 years ago and was never found. Since then, he had vowed to find her at any cost. Guan had sacrificed everything in his quest: his home, his career, even his wife. One day, while sitting on a hillside near the road, he spotted a truck and suddenly began pelting it with stones. His aim was perfect. The stones shattered the truck's windshield, causing it to crash. Guan climbed down and attacked the driver, demanding to know where his daughter was. But before he could get answers, the driver's partner struck Guan on the head, leaving him badly injured. The two men fled on foot. When Guan regained consciousness, he opened the truck's rear doors and was shocked to find many children locked inside cages. It became clear that Guan had somehow tracked down a child trafficking gang and had attacked their truck on purpose. He searched every cage, hoping to find Tangerine, but she wasn't there. At that moment, the police arrived, and from their perspective, it looked like Guan himself was trafficking children. The police arrested him. Handcuffed in the back of a police vehicle, Guan dozed off again and dreamed of his daughter. This time, Tangerine was bound by black swamp-like vines. Waking up, Guan noticed the police had taken Tangerine's photo from his pocket. Enraged, he attacked the officer, snatched the photo back, and escaped. On the road, he saw another car and, without hesitation, climbed inside for cover. The driver of the car was Link, a woman who knew everything about Guan's life and also about Tangerine's disappearance. She promised to help him find his daughter. The story then shifted back to ancient times. A warrior named Kong was running for his life from a group of attackers led by an old man. When Kong reached the top of a cliff, he was cornered. Just as the attackers were about to seize him, Kang's sister arrived. To save him, she pushed him off the cliff, urging him to go west before she fought the enemies alone. When Kong climbed back up the cliff, he found his sister had been killed by the old man and his men. Enraged, Kong drew his spear and charged at the old man. The man warned him, "If you kill me, you will never escape Lord Red Men." But Kong ignored the warning and killed him anyway. After this chaos, Kong, exhausted from constant pursuit, made a decision to go into the city and kill his greatest enemy, Lord Red Men. Just then, the old man's armor began to move on its own, searching for a new master. Suddenly it latched onto Kang's body. This armor had its own will, and it had chosen Kong to help fulfill its mission. The armor fused completely with his body, and an eye appeared on his chest. Meanwhile, Link took Guan to the building where she worked and showed him photos of 5 little girls. She asked him to identify his daughter among them. But 6 years had passed since the tragedy, and Guan couldn't recognize her. Soon, Link came to the real point. She could run a DNA test to identify Tangerine, but in return, Guan would have to work for her company. They knew Guan had unusual abilities. He could stop or move thrown objects with his mind. Now, the company wanted him to use those powers to kill a writer named Kong. This writer read his stories live in streams. Strangely, whenever his character Lord Red Men got injured in his novels, Link's boss, Limu, would also suffer accidents in real life. The company had tried everything to stop the writer, but nothing worked. Guan didn't believe this story, but he had no choice. He would do anything to save his daughter. The next day, disguised with a haircut and a new look, Guan traveled to a small town where Kong lived. On his way, he listened to Kang's audiobook and realized that the people and things from his dreams were connected to Kang's stories. Guan spent the whole day tailing Kong, waiting for a chance to kill him. At last, he followed him into a library. But Guan failed to stay hidden. After all, only the two of them were inside. Suddenly, Kong asked why he had been following him all day. Trying to cover himself, Guan replied that he was just a huge fan of Kang's novels. Delighted, Kong asked him many questions. Before Guan could respond, Link called him and ordered him to kill the writer immediately without talking to him. But Guan disobeyed and continued tailing Kong. The two began talking again. At that moment, a vehicle from Link's company came speeding toward them, attempting to crush them both. Guan ran away, but the diary in which he recorded his dreams was left behind. As soon as Kong read the diary, an idea suddenly struck him about how to continue his story. The tale then returned to that dreamlike world. Kong found himself in a city where a festival was underway. At the festival square stood a huge statue of Lord Redman, and the deity was being worshipped there. Kong was stunned by the massive crowd. The statue pointed toward a nearby village, and everyone grabbed their weapons and rushed in that direction. The armor told Kong that Lord Redman had already destroyed many villages in the same way. The god was inciting his worshippers to wage war. The villagers fought desperately to defend themselves, but then 3 dragons descended from the sky and rained burning lava on them. Arrows set aflame also poured down from the soldiers, and the entire village was consumed by flames. The next morning, priests of Lord Redman, dressed in red, came and terrorized the surviving villagers, seizing control of the village. The story then returned to the present. When Guan woke up from sleep, he found himself in a hotel room with Link sitting across from him. Link asked him what punishment he should receive for failing to complete his task. A little later, Kong came to the hotel, returned Guan's diary, and thanked him for the inspiration for his story. In the next scene, Guan lured Kong to a secluded spot under the pretense of going for a walk so he could kill him. During their conversation, Kong said that in his dream world he had met a little girl who was trying to save her brother, but the brother had already died. That girl was none other than Guan's daughter, Tangerine. Kong comforted Tangerine, and together they buried her brother. Tangerine also told them that soldiers in red clothes had killed her brother, and that they would kill anyone who left their house after sunrise. The same tune that Tangerine had played on the flute in the dream echoed exactly in the real world and reached Kong and Guan. But the melody also drew a red soldier after them, because since the curfew took effect, no one was allowed outside. Kong distracted the soldier by making a straw effigy of Tangerine, letting Tangerine escape. When the soldier, thinking the effigy was the girl, approached Kong, Kong struck the soldier's helmet. As the helmet cracked open, Guan's face emerged, now ready to kill Kong. But just then Tangerine reappeared and drew Guan's attention. For some reason Guan could not move. Taking advantage of that, Kong and Tangerine escaped. While Kong was writing all this down in the real world, Guan crept up behind him. The dreams that Guan had been seeing matched the scenes Kong had just put in his novel. Guan raised a stone and struck Kong, knocking him unconscious. Kong fell into a ditch. Guan, humming the same tune, moved in to deliver a final blow, the exact scene Kong had written. But then a child's voice in the middle of the road began humming that same tune. How could the child possibly know it? That was a melody Guan only sang for his daughter. Guan chased the child, asking where he had heard it. Terrified, the boy ran, and while pursuing him Guan felt exactly what the red soldier chasing Tangerine and Kong in the novel must have felt. The boy slipped away, and following him led Guan, by chance, into a small party. To Guan's shock, he found Tangerine's kidnapper there, partying with some friends. A fight erupted immediately. Guan used his powers and beat them all. He demanded the truth. "Tell me, where is my daughter?" Terrified, the kidnapper confessed. While abducting Tangerine, he had given her too large a dose of drugs. She had died. He put her body in a sack and dumped her on part of a hillside to rot. Enraged and grief-stricken, Guan wanted to strangle the kidnapper to death with his own hands. But Link arrived at that moment, knocked Guan unconscious, and took him away in her car. When Guan regained consciousness, he told Link that the kidnapper had admitted he'd killed his daughter. Limu, Link's boss, had been listening to everything, and he ordered Link to tell Guan that his daughter was still alive. Link hesitated to lie so blatantly just for her own gain. Guan replied that he would kill Kong, don't worry about that, and that he only needed the kidnapper handed over to him. Bring him out of police custody for me, he demanded. I want to kill him with my own hands. Limu was furious with Link because he had instructed her to tell Guan his daughter was alive. But Link refused to stoop that low for mere convenience. Back in the dream world, Kong and Tangerine had escaped the Red Soldier and reached the city, where they witnessed many people dying as a result of the fighting. They went to Tangerine's home, only to learn that her family had already died because they had gone out during curfew. While they were talking, followers of Lord Redmond stormed in and tried to kill the two of them. Kong leapt forward to save Tangerine. The armor observed this and remarked to itself that Kong was becoming a hero. In the real world, Kong found Guan on the roof of a building, completely unaware that the man who had earlier attacked him was actually Guan. Guan realized that Kong had written him into the novel as a Red Soldier, and therefore the wound on the soldier's head matched the wound on Guan's own head, the wound he had received while fighting the kidnapper. Guan took Kang's notebook and discovered that the strange visions and occurrences he had been experiencing were exactly the things Kong had written into his book. And the shocking thing was that even Tangerine was a living character in this novel. From this, it became absolutely clear that Kong had unknowingly created a parallel universe of his novel, and whatever he wrote in it also happened to people in this real world. Kong revealed that in the last chapter, he and Tangerine were surrounded by many of Redman's soldiers. That's when Guan gave the idea that no matter what, they had to win this battle. Now the story once again shifted to that imaginary world, where Kong was about to fight Redman's soldiers. Suddenly, Kang's armor left his body and transformed into a living creature that could create any weapon it wanted. The armor charged forward, cutting through the crowd. Kong jumped into the fight and soon realized that the armor was actually moving according to his will, because Kang's blood was inside it. He struck the armor's chest and declared, I am your master, got it? You'll move according to me. Meanwhile, in the real world, Guan called Ling and said that now he would save Kong. But he also challenged her. If you've got guts, then prove it yourself and protect the boy. He did this because he wanted to save Tangerine in the novel. A little later, during their conversation, Kong told Guan that his father and Limu used to be business partners once. Then, one day suddenly, his father died in an accident. Ling, listening quietly, realized that it was actually Limu who had killed Kang's father, and now to cover up his truth, he wanted to kill Kong too. Furious, Ling called Limu and demanded the truth. But Limu hung up without saying a word. While Ling was returning to her car, suddenly one of Limu's men electrocuted her and dumped her onto the back seat. Meanwhile, Guan and Kong reached the library, where Kong was about to write the final part of his novel. Guan was fully ready to protect him from anyone trying to interrupt. In the imaginary world, Kong and Tangerine reached Redman's palace, where they saw thousands of Red Soldier statues. Kong realized that this was why Redman's people imposed a curfew, because after sunset, these Red Soldiers turned into statues. At the same time, Limu's thugs reached the library, and Guan fought them off using his powers. But one of them had the ability to control electricity. He splashed water on Guan, knocked him down, and electrocuted him using the water on the floor. Guan couldn't fight him directly, so he hid. Spotting the right moment, he put on rubber gloves and attacked. This way, he wouldn't get shocked. Then Guan faced another attacker, who was extremely powerful, and Guan couldn't stand against his strength. Luckily, Ling somehow freed herself and came to help him. Together, they fought the attacker and killed him. Back in the imaginary world, Kong and Tangerine finally reached Lord Redman, a huge creature with 4 arms. That's when the truth came out. Kong was actually the son of Redman's brother, whom Redman had killed long ago. This story was exactly like reality. Limu had killed Kang's father, even though they were business partners like brothers. Realizing this, Kong grew furious and challenged Redman to a fight. Outside, Redman showed Kong a tree where his father was buried. The battle began, and the armor once again transformed into a creature so that together they could face Redman. But even then, they couldn't scratch him. Just as Redman was about to kill injured Kong, Tangerine started playing her flute, the same tune her father had taught her for times of trouble. But this only enraged Redman further, and he swallowed Tangerine into his stomach. In the real world, a third thug had stabbed Kong with a knife inside the library, and nobody noticed. Soon, Guan and Ling found him, killed the third attacker, and rushed Kong to the hospital. Guan looked at Kang's laptop and wondered how to finish the novel. That's when Limu entered the room and revealed his plan. He wanted Kong and Guan to kill each other so that it would look like mutual murder. It was a perfect plan because police would find Tangerine's name in the novel, and then the story would fit, that Guan suspected Kong of kidnapping his daughter and killed him. Now Limu wanted Kang's computer, but Guan refused, saying that he would finish the story himself. Back in the imaginary world, just as Redman was about to kill Kong, suddenly a red soldier appeared and started firing a machine gun at Redman. It was Guan. He had come to save his daughter. The attack injured Redman. Kong noticed that a weapon was hanging right in the middle of Redman's forehead. He grabbed it, thinking it might be Redman's weakness. The red soldier helped him pull it, and together they tore Redman's body apart. Finally, the plan worked, and the gigantic creature was killed. With his death, Tangerine was freed from the prison inside his stomach. At last, father and daughter were reunited in that world. Meanwhile, in reality, Ling was reading how Guan had ended the novel, and as soon as Redman died in the story, Limu also died in real life. In the end, Guan heard the same flute tune again and rushed outside the hospital. That's when he saw the same boy he had been chasing. But this time, the boy was with a girl, and she was none other than his daughter, Tangerine. Finally, father and daughter were reunited. Kong survived too. That's the ending. See you in the next video.